And today I am popping in to answer a question that I get a lot, which is, should I have an Etsy shop? And as with all things we talk about, the answer is it depends, of course. I've had moderate success on Etsy, and I know so many people who've had a ton of success. My friend Carly had a six-figure year on Etsy alone. So obviously things are working on Etsy. I actually, when Etsy first went public, I bought a bunch of the stock, and my dad, who's my financial advisor, told me it was a terrible, terrible idea. And now I make fun of him all the time because it went from $17 to $50 a share. So who's right now, Dad? So something is going right with Etsy. Obviously, if their stock is up so much, if people are having six-figure years, but how do you figure out if it's the right move for you? So let's start with things that are really amazing on Etsy. So the first biggest thing is you have this built-in audience. People already know what Etsy is. They know to go there when they're looking for certain types of products, especially if you're in the wedding industry. People know that they can find wedding stuff on Etsy. And those people are not the people that you would have gotten elsewhere. You're not really competing with yourself. I know some people say they don't want to sell on Etsy because they'll have to sell things for less than they would on their website. But that's not really a fair comparison because the people who are on Etsy are going to find what they're looking for. I don't know if you've ever tried to find something on Etsy, but anytime I go there to try and find anything, I eventually find something good. Even if my idea is just like a birthday present for my friend who loves monograms, like you're always going to find something monogram. I'm never going to have to leave Etsy and go to someone's website to find what I'm looking for. So if I've got a mission and I'm on Etsy to complete that mission, I'm going to complete that mission on Etsy. So for that reason, you're not really competing with yourself. You're actually opening yourself up to an entirely new audience because those are people that are on Etsy. If they don't find your product on Etsy, they're not going to leave Etsy and go to your website. They're going to find someone else's product on Etsy that's at least slightly similar or fits the same purpose that they're looking for. Etsy is also super easy to use from a maker standpoint. You don't have to build out the interface. You don't have to build out the look. All you have to do is fill in those forms. You can copy listings. You can update a lot of different things. There's really no user issues with Etsy. They've made a really good platform from a shop standpoint. People also are so comfortable with Etsy that they're comfortable making large purchases. And it's already people who like handcrafted items. So you can get an engagement ring on Etsy. You can spend thousands of dollars on beds and handcrafted furniture. So you shouldn't ever be concerned with, my product is too expensive to sell on Etsy. My product is too unique or handcrafted, because that's exactly the audience that you're getting. And one other thing that I love about Etsy is the reviews. So they're really common. They're really easy to get. They set it up so that you can send an email to anyone that's purchased from you asking for a review, offering a 10% discount on their next purchase, etc. So the follow-up there is really, really nice. Whereas like on Squarespace, you have to do a lot of coding in order to get reviews in your shop. So I haven't even fully bothered with that function yet because it's just kind of difficult. But on Etsy, it's a great way to get reviews. People can post pictures, etc. And of course, as with everything, there are a few things that don't work super well on Etsy. And I think the main thing here is your product line and the type of products that you offer. So what this comes down to is customization. People on Etsy expect to get exactly what they see in the product images. They don't really always have that creativity to see one thing and completely customize it. So they're comfortable changing colors, text, size, those kind of things. And you might even get requests for a little bit more customization every once in a while. But if your product line is 100% custom, like custom invitations, custom woodworking, etc., you're going to have a little bit more trouble on Etsy. Custom invitations are more than half of the invitation side of my business. So I don't funnel a ton of effort into my Etsy shop, but I do have all my collection suites in there because you can see what you're getting. You can customize the text. It's a little bit easier for folks on Etsy to grasp what they're going to receive. I also see people complaining a lot that people on Etsy are really cheap. And I think that's true to some extent. There are a lot of people on Etsy who are selling at lower prices because they're not full businesses. They're just kind of hobbyists, or what my parents call jobby, which is somewhere in the middle of job and hobby. So this can be really discouraging. My semi-custom collection, which is on Etsy, is higher priced than a lot of the other stuff on Etsy. So I don't get quite as many inquiries and things like that because people see that dollar amount and get a little bit scared at first. compared to something else. However, I think this is all about showing your value and understanding that you have a different client than those people who are scared of that. So potentially, this means that your client isn't necessarily on Etsy. But I don't think, like I said, you can order custom furniture, thousands of dollars. You can order engagement rings that are thousands of dollars. So I don't think that that should necessarily discourage you. But I do encourage you not to lower your prices to match with other people on Etsy unless it works for your market share. So maybe this is a great place to put some of your lower price options or less customized options, but maybe it doesn't work for everything. And of course, Etsy takes a cut, 20 cents per listing and then 20%, something like that. So make sure that you work those into your pricing. You can sell things on Etsy for different prices they are on your website, which is a little confusing to people. But like I mentioned earlier, people aren't usually going from Etsy to your website. So a lot of people won't really notice that. And one of my big concerns about Etsy over time, not so much when you're starting out, is that you don't own the traffic. It doesn't increase any of the traffic to your website. Any of your sales that happen on Etsy, views, reach, etc., doesn't translate over something you own. So, for instance, if Etsy were to go bankrupt tomorrow, you lose all of that. So, if it's the only channel that you have, I definitely recommend looking at diversifying. And I think over time, most businesses are going to grow to a point where they don't want to pay for that cut, or they rather have the traffic and results tied to their own website and something that they own and have a little bit more control over. So my friend Carly that I mentioned of CZ Invitations does have a really, really awesome Etsy presence. She makes a ton of money on Etsy. She shows up in almost all the searches on the first page. She's got tons of followers and views over there. And she actually wrote an ebook called the Easy Etsy Guide. So if you do think that this is a good move for your business, or you're just starting out, or you want to improve your sales with your Etsy shop, then make sure you check that out. I'll link it below for you. It's got a lot of strategies based on how to maximize your shop, how to get better search results, how to make more sales on Etsy, what people are going to like, photos, listings, any questions that you might have about Etsy. So definitely check that out. So as with a lot of things, we have come to no real official conclusion because I'm not going to tell you what's right for you and your business. And you can have a lot of success on Etsy or you cannot. But I hear a lot of creatives talking shit about Etsy. So I don't want to further that narrative because frankly, Etsy wouldn't be around, wouldn't be doing so well if people weren't having success on it. It can be such a great place to start for your business. And even though I think there will almost always come a time in your business's life where it makes sense to leave Etsy, I know so many great businesses who got their start there. So let us know what you think in the comments. And if you have any further questions or want to delve a little bit deeper into Etsy, make sure you get the Easy Etsy Guide from Carly, which I'll link below. And of course, give us a like or subscribe so you get notifications when we release new videos, conversations, tips for creative business owners. Thanks, everybody. Have a great day.